Hello and welcome, Maria here again, and I want to welcome you to this video today, and welcome back if you're a frequent visitor to my channel, and welcome if it's the first time you're visiting. So the question I'm going to ask today in this video is one that I've had so many people say to me and ask me. And the question is, was I stupid to fall for a narcissist? You know, basically, is it my fault? So in this video today, I'm going to share with you 3 reasons why the answer is no, you were not stupid to fall for a narcissist. Now, so many people ask themselves this question and they beat themselves up relentlessly for being so stupid. On top of that, they feel guilt, they feel shame, hurt, grief, anxiety, and complete confusion when they feel compelled to go back to their abuser. Now, narcissists are complicated, cunning people, but you must understand that it was absolutely not your fault. You need to stop blaming yourself. You need to learn the truth, and you need to start healing. So what I want to do in this video today is share with you 3 reasons why it wasn't your fault. So the first is that narcissists are brilliant manipulators. They really are very, very good at manipulating people. They can be utterly charming, and when they unleash their charm offensive on you during, for example, the love bombing stage, they very, very quickly start mirroring your behavior, your movement, your language patterns, your body language. They seem to love everything you love, like everything you like, dislike everything you dislike. And this enables them to very quickly build this very powerful rapport between the two of you. And you feel like you've never met anyone who gets you like this, who's just so on the same wavelength as you. Now, this doesn't just happen with romantic partners, and I've talked about this previously in my previous videos. It can happen with any narcissist who targets you for their needs. And I talked about 2 of my most recent clients that I've worked with who had their lives almost destroyed. One was by a friend and the other by a work colleague, and one of them had to actually leave her job because she just couldn't handle being in the same building as this narcissist person anymore. Now, both of these clients felt this utter compulsion to be with this person, to understand them, to be close to them. And they shared things with them that they'd never shared with anyone. But this is what narcissists get you to do by forming this false bond with you, one that you, of course, mistakenly feel is genuine bonding, but it's not, because narcissists have no real sense of self. Everything about them is fake. But unfortunately, by the time you realize it, you've become a victim of horrendous, sustained narcissistic abuse. But you couldn't possibly have known that this kind of deceit even existed. So there's no way you could have figured any of this out. And obviously, intelligence has got absolutely nothing to do with it. Now, reason number 2 is that they are excellent at 2 things. One is people reading and the other one is spying. Now, narcissists are able to pick up subtle cues that you're not even aware of. Because they have no sense of their own self, no empathy, no compassion, they learn how this looks by observing other people. So they're kind of like actors who can step into any role, but they also spy stalk potential targets on social media or by any other means that they can, to get to know as much about you as they can. And they'll do this secretly before even connecting with you, and they can play it out with Oscar-winning performances to the point that you'll never suspect a thing, because how could you? This sort of behavior isn't normal. You just don't know people do this. But it's perfectly narcissistic normal. It's what they do. And when they get you in their sights, you're going to lose unless you're very well informed about the truth of what a narcissist is. Now, if it's in the workplace, they may have been observing and listening to you for some time before they even approach you. But all this time, they will have been sounding you out, gauging you and getting ready to make their move. And often they'll take a bit of time over getting to know you, but then they'll talk about how amazing you are. The love bombing happens, as I've mentioned previously in another video, even when it's not romantic. They'll start to make you feel like the most important person in the world to them. Now, this can happen even if they're married and you are married, and there is no physical chemistry between you. There's no romantic or there's no sexual relationship. And this can actually come as a surprise to a lot of people who think that it can only happen, if there's this romantic coupling going on. So when you start to realize slowly but surely that this person is displaying ridiculous behavior, that they're, exhibiting extreme jealousy for no reason, things are just not adding up, You're not involved romantically with this person. You thought you were just friends. What's going on here? It can be very confusing and it can take a while. None of it makes sense to you. But this feeling of unease grows and you start to realize that something is wrong with this person. Now, by the time you realize this, they can have done a tremendous amount of damage to your sense of self. And somehow, Googling it and whatnot, you find your way to NPD, and it's like light bulbs start popping off everywhere, and you realize, oh my God, this person is a narcissist. This is a thing. This is what I'm dealing with. It's not me. I'm not crazy. Now, the third reason why you are not crazy or stupid to fall for a narcissist is that they actually target intelligent people quite often, very often, in fact. Now, that said, falling for a narcissist has nothing whatsoever to do with your intelligence. The smarter you are, the more likely you are to attract a narcissist, because they often will attract or target clever people. It's part of that idea they have of grandiosity and that they are looking for the best of the best. So it's kind of flattering if you think about it that way, but don't think about it that way for too long, please. They also sometimes they like that challenge. Well, it's a big challenge. I'm going to target that person. He or she is up there, one of the beautiful people, one of the in crowd, so cool, all that sort of stuff. They're very likely to target you because of that. This is particularly so if they are cerebral narcissists, where they place very high value on intelligence, or if they are somatic narcissists, they're looking fabulously gorgeous. They're going to be looking for people who are also very good looking, very well turned out, very sexy, very fit, all that sort of thing. Your intelligence has got nothing to do with it. I have known some very, very seriously smart women and men at the top of their games, multimillionaires who've fallen into the trap simply because they just didn't know the profile of a narcissist. And quite often, it's because they grew up with a narcissistic parent. And that's where things can get complicated, because you think, as I've also mentioned before, well, if they grew up with narc parents, how could they walk right into a relationship with a narcissist? They should have known better. That's actually a good question. And there is a very, very, very valid reason why it happens, and it happens a lot. So what happens is that they've learned to accept unacceptable behavior, and deep down at this subconscious level, they've seen all this behavior going on, and they've accepted it, and it's kind of normal. Now, deep down, very often they don't love or value themselves because, when they were growing up, they were often told they were worthless, or they just weren't valued the way a child growing up is supposed to be valued. And they picked up subconscious programming by watching the dysfunctional behavior, between their parents. And this is really, really common. So when they get into a relationship of their own, there's a deep part of them that's already primed to accept more dysfunctional, abusive behavior. And this part of them, or there is a part of them, thinks that this is normal. Now, in some cases, I've known people who just didn't know what a normal relationship was supposed to look like. If you have no role models, how do you know? So how do you find a healthy relationship? That being said, it's not always the case. It's not always the case that there's been dysfunctional parents. I've worked with people who actually had wonderful parents. There was no abuse in their family that they have any recollection of. Their parents are lovely, and still they've managed to attract a narcissistic partner. Now, the reasons why can be complicated, and often it will require working with a skilled therapist to help figure out why, what happened, what was going on, how did this happen to you? It could be that you were just targeted by a narcissist because of your kind, empathetic qualities. You could have been targeted by a narcissist who's been watching you for quite some time. And as spooky as that might sound, it's actually happening all the time. Okay? At the end of the day, there's always a reason, there's always an answer, and there is always a path to healing. But the path always leads back to you, and always to to helping you find your self-worth again. The abusive cycle is one that needs to be broken, and it can be broken by, first and foremost, adopting compassion, love, and forgiveness for yourself. And you have to remember that narcissists are supreme con merchants. They can convince therapists, lawyers, judges, very intelligent people that they are the good guy or the good girl, the good gal, and you're the one with the problems. But of course, you're not. You have to be the first one to really see through their smoke screens and make a decision for your mental, psychological, and emotional health. But in the meantime, if you're not quite there yet, just know that absolutely no, you are not stupid to fall for a narcissist. It happens to brilliant, amazing women and men all the time. Once you know the form and what to look out for, you can protect yourself and steer clear of them for good. Because if you don't, you are going to be in for a very painful time of it in more ways than you could possibly imagine. Now, another question that I get asked all the time, and going on from where we are today, is why did I attract a narcissist into my life? What's going on there? And it's a really good one as well, one that's very important for you to answer for yourself, as it will lead you to a much better understanding of who you are and what you need to do to protect yourself from ever falling for one again. So I recommend that you check out my next video, where I'm going to talk about why you attracted a narcissist into your life and help you get some more understanding around that and some clarity about what you can do to get out, okay? So thank you very much again for your time and for watching. I appreciate that. And I will see you soon for the next video. Bye for now.